committee's responsibility on the position given by the chairman of national security. The budget line that we have, Honorable Speaker, is for restoration of livestock that was affected by drought in the whole country. It is not specific to Baringo, and it has nothing to do with cattle rustling and the resultant effects on the communities in the North region. So, Mr. Speaker, we will do our work, but the chairman of the administration committee should also do his work and respond accordingly to the question raised by Honorable Kamuren. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Russell.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, for those of us who come from banditry areas, this is a very important statement sought by
There are no bandit areas. There are areas affected by bandits.
Honorable Speaker, listening to him, I think this statement should either go to the leader of majority or JLAC, because it has far-reaching issues of compensation on those who have been killed, those who have been displaced, properties that have been destroyed, livestock stolen, and all that. I think as a committee, we'll try to put our heads...
Majority leader, everybody's running away from this statement.
Honorable Speaker, that request for statement by the Honorable Kamuren is good. But you see, compensation of banditry victims is a matter that everybody is running away from. But, Honorable Speaker, you know, even victims of banditry are Kenyans whose human rights have been violated. And the state has an obligation to protect the life and property of each and every one of us. Therefore, I will pick up the matter with the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary to be able to liaise with the Office of the Deputy President, who liaises with the independent constitutional commissions to see if the Kenya Human Rights Commission can include these victims of banditry amongst the people who are being compensated, even from the compensation fund for victims of demonstrations and other violations of human rights. Because they are just like every other Kenyan. They are Kenyans who have a right to life and livelihood, and therefore they must be protected. And where that is violated because the state has failed to offer them security, I want to believe, like Honorable Kamuren believes, that they should and they must be compensated. I'll therefore relay this statement to the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary to be able to liaise with all relevant agencies of government.
Thank you, Honorable Kamuren. Finally, your statement has found a place to patch. Inform them to bring a response in 2 weeks. Wakili Mureu. Wakili Mureu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Pursuant to the provisions of the Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the status of the investigations into the death of Mr. Eugene Maliva Mutuko of Ithanga Kakuzi Sub-County, Muranga Agatanga constituency, arising from the conduct of operators of a public service vehicle belonging to DICO Mover Sacco. Honorable Speaker, on the 5th June 2026, Mr. Eugene Maliva Mutuko, a 19-year-old student at Kenya Medical Training College, KMTC, Thika campus, died at Kenyatta National Hospital owing to injuries sustained along Thika Road after being injected by a conductor of the bus, registration number KDV 713J, operated by Nico Mover Sacco. It is reported that while traveling from Rostas to Safari Park, a dispute arose over Kenya shillings 2020 fare balance, following which the bus conductor forcibly injected Mr. Mutuko as the bus accelerated. The post-mortem examination revealed that Mr. Mutuko died from severe multiple body injuries and internal bleeding consistent with fall from moving vehicle. However, no action has ever been taken against operators of the circle at present. This incident has sparked widespread public concern over the conduct of public service vehicles operators and continued occurrence of passenger mistreatment, often resulting to fatalities. It is also raises serious questions regarding the accountability within the public transport sector and the adequacy of enforcement mechanism to safeguard the commuters. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson, the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security, on the following. One, the status of the investigations of the death of Mr. Mutuko, including the process made in identifying, apprehending, and prosecuting the conductor and driver of the bus. The immediate, number two, immediate measure taken by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration in collaboration with the National Transport and Safety Authority against Nico Movers SACCO, including the suspension or revocation of the company's operating licenses. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Wakili. Tongoyo?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We'll ask to request that I respond in 2 weeks' time or the first Thursday when we resume from recess.
Okay. So which one?
You know, looking at the calendar, if we are still like to go on recess on that, 2 weeks will elapse.
So can you bring a response on the second?
Yes.
Thank you. Second, Mureo. Umulher Harun. Umulher Harun. Go ahead.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 44.2c, I rise to request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security regarding the status of refugee integration and economic empowerment in the country. Honorable Speaker, Kenya continues to host a significant number of refugees and asylum seekers from neighboring countries fleeing conflict, persecution, and other forms of crisis. Notably, the Dadaab refugee complex and the Kakuma refugee camp have historically provided protection and humanitarian assistance for refugee populations. Although under limited economic independence and social integration, consequently, many refugees continue to face socioeconomic vulnerability due to restricted access to formal education, employment, healthcare, and financial services. Prolonged encampment of refugees deepens dependency on humanitarian aid, limits self-reliance, and undermines long-term development. Honorable Speaker, the Refugee Act, Cap 173, provides a framework for transitioning refugee management from encampment model to integrated settlement approaches. While the Government of Kenya, in collaboration with the United Nations High Commission for Refugees and other stakeholders, has made effort to promote refugee inclusion, full implementation of the aspirations of the Act is yet to be realized. Of great concern, infrastructure in host communities continues to lag behind. Resource sharing tensions between refugees and host communities still persist, and the social cohesion necessary for sustainable integration remains elusive. Honorable Speaker, it's against this background that I request for a statement from the Chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on the following. The status of implementation of the provisions of the Refugee Act, Cap 173 relating to refugee integration and the progress made in transitioning refugees from camps to integrated settlements, the measures being taken by the Commissioner for Refugees and other relevant government agencies, including the Ministry of Education, to expand inclusive education programs and guarantee equitable access to quality education by refugee children and youth, the steps being taken by the Ministry to strengthen infrastructure and service delivery within host communities, particularly Garissa and Turkana counties, to address resource sharing tensions between refugees and host populations, and foster conditions conducive to sustainable integration of refugees, and the public awareness and sensitization initiatives being undertaken to foster social cohesion and reduce discrimination against refugees within host communities. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mulher. Tongoyo, that's to you again.
Honorable Speaker, I doubt that the question should be redirected to the ministry, to the Committee on Regional Development. As per our standing order, the matters for refugee affairs had been taken by the Peter Locha Committee.
Thank you. Is Locha Kapong here? The statement request will be routed to your committee. You respond by 2nd of next month.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. We will endeavor to respond by 2nd of July.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just a minute. Doris Donya.
Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44 2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education regarding placement of students in medicine and surgery programs in Kenyan universities. Honorable Speaker, reports on the outcome of the initial placement of students to degree programs in universities in May 2026 intake indicate that a significant number of qualified students missed out on their choices to study medicine and surgery. According to the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Service, that is KUSPS, both public and private universities accredited to offer the two courses cumulatively have less than 1,000 slots against more than 5,000 applicants who qualified for medicine and surgery programs. The limited number of slots has caused anxiety and frustration among students who attained outstanding grades in the 2025 Kenya Certificate of Secondary School exams with the focus of pursuing medicine or surgery, only to miss out on placement in their desired courses. Honorable Speaker, the significant number of qualified students who missed placement in medical-related degree programs indicates that the demand for training into the two fields has outpaced the capacity by accredited universities. While KUSPS is mandated to place students in colleges and universities, it is limited to the number of slots declared by the relevant regulatory bodies. The situation raises concerns about the adequacy of training capacity for medicine and surgery programs, transparency or placement criteria, and the country's preparedness to meet future healthcare training demands and needs. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Education on the following: a report on the number of students who qualified for admission into medicine and surgery programs in 2025 placement cycle compared to the number who secured placement based on available slots in public and private universities. The criteria used in allocating students to medicine and surgery programs where the number of qualified applicants exceeds the available slots. Number 3, measures being undertaken by government to expand training capacity for medicine, surgery, and other highly competitive professional courses. And lastly, long-term plans by the government to increase investment in medical education and training institutions in order to address the shortage of healthcare professionals and ensure that qualified students are not locked out of pursuing their preferred careers. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Doris. Chair Education. Order members. Order. Order members. The consultations are too loud. Those of you who want to talk loudly, you can recess out and do so, or use my office behind here. Chair Education. Who is a member of Education here? Gisairo? The Vice Chair is who? Eh? Honorable? Christine, you are the Vice Chair.
No, I'm not. She's away.
Yes.
But I can respond to that.
Also Gisairo here is a member. You bring a response in
the next 2 weeks, maybe?
Next 2 weeks.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Robert Mbui.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Environment, Forestry and Mining regarding the issuance of permits and licenses for mineral reconnaissance, prospecting and exploitation rights within the coastal counties. Honorable Speaker, Section 32 of the Mining Act, Cap 306, categorizes mining rights into large-scale or small-scale operations. Large-scale operations include reconnaissance, prospecting, retention, and mining licenses, while small-scale operations include operations on prospecting and mining permits. Honorable Speaker, there have been reports of planned prospection and exploration of minerals in the coastal region. Notably, most of the land earmarked for mineral prospecting and exploration by both local and foreign-owned mining companies comprises privately owned land. This has led to concerns regarding instances where permits and licenses have been allegedly issued to applicants without adequate public participation, prior consultation, or agreements with the registered landowners on the modalities of the activities. Such actions have generated anxiety among affected landowners regarding likelihood of trespass to their land and alienation from the mineral deposits and benefits. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Environment, Forestry and Mining, the Honorable Vincent Musyoka, aka Kawaya, on the following. 1, a report of the details of mining licenses and permits issued in the coast region and their compliance to key requirements of environmental and social impact assessments. 2, a report on the criteria and procedures applied in the issuance of permits and licenses for mineral reconnaissance, prospecting, and exploration rights within the region. 3, details of the measures put in place to safeguard the land rights of private landowners in areas earmarked for mineral exploitation. And finally, a report on the corporate social responsibility programs undertaken by the respective companies in the affected areas. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Chair Environment, Forestry and Mining. Cameron.
Thank you, Speaker. Within 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Thank you.
Within 2 weeks we shall report.
Thank you. Response to a statement. Tongoyo, are you ready for this? Honorable Tongoyo, are you ready to respond to the request by Honorable Waitan?
Yes. Yeah, Honorable Speaker, I have it ready.
Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, you're not the Speaker, Daktari. I want to respond as follows. On the 23rd April, at around 7:20, Mr. Harun Abdi, an employee of the victim, reported at Pangani Police Station that Mr. Muhammad Abdir Ismail had allegedly been abducted by unidentified armed men. A team from DCI commenced investigation, that is from Pangani, immediately, and under inquiry file number 04 of 26. And they visited the scene where they interviewed witnesses and collected relevant evidence. and they also circulated the missing person report to all police stations in the country. During the visit to the scene at the old race course estate within Kariokor, investigators established that there was no CCTV coverage in the immediate vicinity or surrounding buildings that will have assisted in the investigation. The witnesses interviewed confirmed that the victim was accosted by the 6 unidentified armed men who forcibly bundled him into a white double cabin pickup, while the second double cabin vehicle provided support. The registration number plate of both vehicles were concealed. The further mobile number data analysis on the victim's number established that the last active signal was traced along Desai Road, approximately 1.2 kilometers from the scene, after which the handset was switched off and has remained inactive since then. So far, the investigation team has been unable to get any positive leads that may assist in the locating or rescuing the victim and the identification, apprehension of the abductors. I therefore implore anyone who has information on the whereabouts of Muhammad to report to the nearest authority, and the same will be treated with the confidence. Meanwhile, investigation into the same matter is still ongoing. On the issue of the family, Honorable Speaker, update, the investigation is ongoing and the investigating officers handling the matter are actively engaging with and providing regular update to the family on the progress of the investigation. I think that is what is more relevant to the statement, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Dan Tongoyo. Waitan.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, going through this statement, you will see that there are people out there to play around with the lives of Kenyans. This is extremely shallow that I was not expecting such kind of a statement from the relevant departments. 1 month before he was abducted, Mohammed Ismail came to my office complaining, Mr. Speaker, may I have your ear, please? This is very important. 1 month earlier, Mr. Mohammed Ismail came to my office complaining that there are people who are following him, and there is a TikToker, which I have, who said that Mohammed Ismail will be abducted soonest possible. And in fact, while our investigative officer said there was no CCTV, I personally have the CCTV in my phone and I sent it to the DCI. I also sent the clip, the TikTok, where the person says that Mohammed Ismail will be abducted. Mohammed Ismail was picked from his shop at Karioko. That gives proper direction. And when the people around there came to save the guy, the 6 people said they are police officers and they are going to arrest him and take him to the nearest police station. And in this statement, it shows completely different. Mr. Speaker, we need this issue investigated further, and we want the family to be satisfied, because the family is in agony. The mother is really crying day and night. I personally visited her. This is not enough. This is not enough at all. After waiting for 1 complete month, the day I presented this statement, I think we are now over 1 month waiting this statement. And what is brought here is unsatisfactory at all. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Umolher.
Thank you, Speaker. I would want to also comment on this.
Tongoyo, are you listening
on
to
this
the
matter.
interventions?
Mr. Speaker, several statements similar to what Mheshimiwa has brought were raised on this floor, myself included. As we speak in Garissa, we have 4 young men who are still missing from the Boy area, who were arrested. Police came with unmarked vehicles, abducted them, and when we follow up and raise statements, go to the police station, we are told they will either be released or they don't have them. Then what happens after a while is these people are now released or abandoned. in the nearby bushes by the same police officers who claim to not be aware of this situation. Mr. Speaker, Article 49(1)(f on the Constitution states that somebody must be released within 24 hours after being arrested and arraigned in court. Mr. Speaker, this is not happening. The police officers are not following their code of conduct. From where we sit as the representatives of the people, we are worried. Sometimes bad people use a similar method that the police officers are using to arrest people who they have individual issues with. So we do not know who is conducting this kind of arrest. Mr. Speaker, the fight against crime must not come at the expense of constitutionalism. I demand from the committee to assist us to provide tangible answers so that we are able to protect these people, we are able to protect both criminals and the good among the community, so that we are able to know what's happening amongst us. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, abductions, disappearances, goonism have no place in the modern day Kenya. Mr. Speaker, the trend, the reason why we have a very good constitution, Mr. Speaker, is to make sure that those individuals who are alleged to have committed crime be subjected to the rule of law. Mr. Speaker, in this era, and I'm sure you must have heard recently, people just, so-and-so is missing, so-and-so has been abducted, the police are asked to carry investigations, then the investigation just ends there. Mr. Speaker, I have gone through the answer here. That answer, I don't know how to describe it. I'm sure that my friend Togoyo here, from his face, is not satisfied with the answer. Isn't it the high time that this is now subjected to further investigations through public hearing so that we know, the family and Kenyans know the whereabouts of Mohammed? Because as it is, the MP his MP has just said that he has the CCTV. The police are saying they have not seen the CCTV. Isn't that time that even the MP is called so that he can avail the CCTVs and all the other messages to the committee, and the committee can come up with a report instead of now relying on a one-sided report from maybe the very individuals who are alleged to have abducted. But Mr. Speaker, this House, through this committee or the House itself, must make a deliberate pronouncement. Criminal responsibility is individual. Abductions must end. It's unconstitutional. It's actually, it's totally unacceptable in the modern day Kenya. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to request you to urge the chair to make sure this abduction or this report is further subjected to further investigation so that we get a good report that will satisfy everybody. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Robert Mbui. Robert Mbui. Give him the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I sympathize with the family and relatives of Mohammed, Mr. Mohammed Ismail, because this is really a major issue. And I listened to the chair when he was giving his response. And Mr. Speaker, one of the things he mentioned is that the general public is being asked to give information. And Mr. Speaker, this issue of abductions and disappearances is really a major problem in this country. In fact, I'll tell you, Mr. Speaker, soon after people disappear or are abducted, we have started seeing bodies appearing in different parts of the country. Mr. Speaker, recently, some time ago, we had bodies found in Kitui. Just about a few days ago, there were bodies found in my own constituency, unidentified bodies, Mr. Speaker, which causes an alarm to the people that live in these areas. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this issue of disappearances, we must, as a country, come up with a way by which anyone who gets lost, that information can reach all and sundry. So that, Mr. Speaker, that person can be found. It could be an innocent issue of someone getting lost. But, Mr. Speaker, sometimes even if they are abducted, they could be spotted in a place and it can be, that issue can be nipped in the bud. Mr. Speaker, I want to propose a system where anybody who is reported missing in any police station in this country, there is a centralized place where that information is relayed and then it is publicized through all media so that every Kenyan can know that a certain person from a certain area is missing, so that, Mr. Speaker, as a country, we can start getting rid of this problem. So, Mr. Speaker, I support this petition. I mean, this question.
Yes, Hassan. After Hassan Tongo, you then can respond to those myriad
Thank you, Mr.
issues.
Speaker. I wanted to add my voice to the concerns about the statement that was presented by Mr. Waiten regarding Mohammed Ismail. Mohammed Ismail is my former constituency manager and is from my constituency of Kamkunji. I know him very well and I have visited the family. On the day that he was taken by people from the security services because he resisted arrest. The neighbors were witnesses, and only when they identified themselves as members of the police force did he accept to go with them without any resistance. But in any case, even if this argument holds any water, that in fact he is not in custody, is the fact it is the responsibility of the government to protect its citizens. And it is up to this particular government Ministry of Security to search if he is not in detention, who has detained him and where he is. That is a right Kenyans expect out of their government. So to say we do not know where he is and who is holding is first of all not rational, not acceptable, not true. But even if it was true, then the onus is on the government to get him, to get the criminals who have taken him and to bring them to book. But the second element is that we have so many of these abductions, Mr. Speaker, in our neighborhoods. People are taken every other day. There is something wrong. These old, dark days of detaining people using forces that are not in uniform is widespread. And if it is not addressed, it's going to be a major concern, a major human rights concern. So we are calling for the release of Mohammed Ismail with immediate effect.
Tongoyo, can you?
Honorable Speaker, before I say something further, Honorable Speaker should help us in this House because, Honorable Speaker, members should be also careful on the picking and use of words because missing persons are not abductions. And it should go on record, Honorable Speaker. Our police officers are so professionals and they don't abduct, they just arrest. And they lay out procedures on what follows after that. So I call upon these members to be careful on choosing of our words. Abduction is no place in our constitution. Abduction does not have place in the present Kenya. Having said this, Honorable Speaker, even an allegation that the missing person or whichever it is are done by the police is merely an allegation. Nevertheless, Honorable Speaker, as I really also feel sorry for the family, but looking into my statement, Honorable Speaker, the last paragraph, the investigation, the report reads, the investigation team has been unable to get any positive leads to this end. And they call upon any other person with information to report the same to the investigating officers so that they can help, it can help the DCI to go into deep, to the root of the matter. So, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that we give the authority, the officers, we trust them, we believe in their capacity.
There's a point of order from Waitan. Yes, Waitan, what's out of order?
Speaker, is the chair in order to say that we should not use abduction while it is really an abduction, because that is the only time when you know the person is arrested, then you know where that person is taken, whether it is Bangani, the nearest police station, or any other police station. But in this case, we don't know the whereabouts of Mohammed Ismail. That is the true fact. And in fact, as clearly put by my colleague Yusuf, that when it is only the time they identified themselves as police officers is when he accepted to go into the vehicle. Before that, he could have defended himself, the neighbors could have defended him, but when they introduced themselves, he accepted to go in. But up to now, we don't know the whereabouts of Mohammed Ismail.
Thank you.
That is not an arrest.
Tongoyo.
Speaker, let me suggest this way. The member who had raised the question is a member of my committee. We may be having the minister who actually will be in a proper position to respond to this in a week's time, be appearing before the committee on a different agenda. So I would suggest, I need your indulgence, if we can able to process during the committee session.
That is better. And Waitan, you can then place those videos you claim you have before the committee for assistance. Honorable members in the Speaker's Gallery, we have Cheborge Boys Secondary School from Bureti, Kericho. Kirenga Girls High School from Lari, Kiambu. In the public gallery, we have Dominion Hope Academy from Kiamba, Kiambu. And St. Ronan Munyu High School from Kieni, Nyeri. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students, their teachers, and those accompanying them to Parliament. Member for Lari, Kahangara.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Allow me, on behalf of the members, to welcome the students who have visited Parliament, and in particular, Kirenga Girls from my constituency. It is one of the most disciplined schools where students decided to stick in school while others were going on strike. And I want to urge them to work very hard in their education, keep up the discipline. We are there to support you. And as you come to this House of Parliament, most of you should also aspire to come to this House so that you can also become good leaders moving forward. So on behalf of the House, welcoming all the schools, and particularly Kirenga, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Is member for Bureti in the House? Member for Bureti is not in the House. I, together with then PS Zakayo Cheriot, started Cheborge Boys School way back in the 80s. We welcome them. Next order.
Order number 8, procedural motion, reduction of a publication period of a specified bill.
Honorable members, we now have just hold, you have some more. Oh yes, sorry, I had given Honorable Tongoyo an opportunity to make a short personal statement. Go ahead, Honorable Tongoyo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm going to be short. Honorable Speaker, this is a statement of appreciation. I rise today to express my heartfelt gratitude to this House for their support following the passing on and subsequent to the funeral of my father-in-law, one Mr. Councillor Peter Leongoitoi, a prominent touring community leader who dedicated himself to the service of others as a leader and a champion of development. Allow me through you, Honorable Speaker, to convey my special appreciation to you as the Speaker of this National Assembly for the leadership, compassion, and the support extended to me and my family. Honorable Speaker, your presence in the funeral and solidarity was deeply appreciated and will remain a lasting source of encouragement to us. Honorable Speaker, I also sincerely want to thank the members of this House who stood with me and the family during our period of bereavement. Honorable members, your messages of condolences, prayers, personal visits, attendance at the funeral, and various acts of kindness provided immense comfort and strength during our moment of grief. Honorable Speaker, I also extend my sincere gratitude to the Clerk of the National Assembly and the entire parliamentary service for the immense support they accorded to us during the grieving period. Honorable Speaker, the overwhelming support demonstrated by my colleagues reaffirmed the values of friendship, compassion, and solidarity that bind us together as leaders and as a national family. On my own behalf and the family and the larger Ngoitoi family, I thank each and every one of you for standing with us as we celebrate the life of our departed loved one. We remain deeply grateful for your kindness, and we pray that the Almighty God bless you abundantly. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable. Honorable members, we have a supplementary order paper approved that is now going to guide our business. Order number 8, Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is a motion for reduction of publication period for a specified bill. Honorable Speaker, I would like to move that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Supplementary Appropriation Bill number 2, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026, from 7 days to 2 days. Honorable Speaker, we have roughly 2 weeks to the end of this financial year, and these supplementary estimates which were tabled yesterday need to be fast-tracked by this House before the end of, in a short period of time, to allow the government to implement the programs that are contained in this bill. Therefore, we would like to persuade members to help us by reducing the publication period from 7 days to 2 days, so that roughly in the next 2 to 3 days we should be, as a House, should have dispensed with this bill to allow the processing of the same. Honorable Speaker, I would like to ask the majority whip to second. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this is a self-explanatory procedural motion. I beg to second.
Honorable Order, Mule, take your seat. Koyo, take the nearest seat. Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 8, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Supplementary Appropriation number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026, from 7 days to 2 days. We put the question. Honorable members, we now put the question at order number 8, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 120, this House resolves to reduce the publication period of the Supplementary Appropriation number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026, from 7 days to 2 days. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Those of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next.
Order number 9, procedural motion, resolution to hold a Thursday morning sitting and extend the afternoon sitting.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 33B on hours of meeting, this House resolves to A, hold a morning sitting on Thursday, 18th June 2026, commencing at 10 a.m. for purposes of considering priority business, and B, extend the afternoon sitting of Thursday, 18th June 2026 until conclusion of priority business as may be specified. Honorable Speaker, this again is just a procedural motion. As you are aware, the Chairman, Budget and Appropriations Committee has just reduced the publication timeline for the Supplementary Appropriations Bill, and considering that we are just 13 or so or 12 days away from the end of the financial year, we need to prioritize some of this business and conclude with it before the financial year comes to an end, so that if there are any exchequer releases that need to be done, they are done before the end of the financial year. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move and urge the House to support this procedural motion, and I wish to request the Honorable Kainan, the Father of the House, to second.
Kainan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand to second.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 9, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 33B, hours of meeting, this House resolves to A, hold a morning sitting on Thursday, 18th June 2026, commencing at 10 a.m. for purposes of considering priority business, and B, extend the afternoon sitting of Thursday, 18th June 2026 until conclusion of priority business as may be specified. We put the question. Honorable members, we now put the question at order number 9, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 33B, hours of meeting, this House resolves to A, hold a morning sitting on Thursday, 18th June 2026, commencing at 10 a.m. for purposes of considering priority business, and B, extend the afternoon sitting of Thursday, 18th June 2026, until conclusion of priority business as may be specified. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. If those of the contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. Next.
Order number 10, procedural motion.
Chipkonga.
Extension of a period for consideration of 29 statutory instruments.
Honorable Chipkonga.
I thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Section 15, subsection 3 of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 2A, the House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the following 21 statutory instruments by a period of 21 days with effect from 25th June 2026. In the first instance, Mr. Speaker, which is contained in A, paragraph A, is number 1 through to 21 as contained in the order paper. And number 2, extend the period for consideration of the following 8 statutory instruments by a period of 21 days with effect from 2nd July 2026. And they are numbered as number 1 through to number 8 as contained in the order paper. The import of this, Mr. Speaker, is that we have considered these regulations. These are regulations that have been made pursuant to a number of protocols that government, the Kenya government, has acceded to pursuant to the Chicago Convention of 1944. So government is seeking to domesticate those conventions, Mr. Speaker, or protocols in these regulations. And so, Mr. Speaker, we consider these regulations, there are 5 more, a total of 34. And we are seeking for extension of time to enable us conclude them as we are working on amendments that are necessary to comply with the Statutory Instruments Act, Mr. Speaker. And with those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and request the Honorable Onjoke to second. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Who to second?
Honorable Onjoke.
Onjoke. Member for Bomachoge.
No, Wanchari.
Go ahead.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to second.
Thank you. Members, on their feet, take your seats. Take the nearest seats. Bonchari. I stand corrected. Thank you. Mbunge wa Bomachoge ni wewe. Bomachoge si wewe. Honorable members, I now propose the question at order number 10, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Section 15.3 of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 2A, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the following 21 statutory instruments by a period of 21 days with effect from 25th June 2026. All the 21 are listed on the order paper. And B, extend the period for the consideration of the following 8 statutory instruments by a period of 21 days with effect from 2nd July 2026. Again, all the 8 are listed on the order paper. Do we put the question? Yes. Oundo, what is it? You want to debate this?
No, I don't want to debate. Probably it's possible that when the chairman was moving, we got distracted. There were quite a number of people, colleagues in front of me. Is it possible that the chair can repeat the reason why they're extending, just for record purposes, so that we also understand?
He said so.
Yeah, that's why I was saying I'm seeking indulgence. There were so many male colleagues who are standing around here. Thank you.
Honorable Oundo. Honorable Oundo, that's why we have the Hansard that records verbatim every word said here, and it goes on to record in real time. If you got the handset now, you'll find what the Honorable Chepkonga said. Yes, Julius Sunguli, is it a point of order?
No, I thought it's still open for me to say something so that Honorable Oundo might benefit because I'm a member of the committee. Yes. And I could just say it in a few words. Yes. Mr. Speaker, I have your permission.
Go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, the Committee on Delegated Legislation sat down in Mombasa recently to discuss, to deliberate on 32 pieces of legislation. Delegated legislation. And Mr. Speaker, these are very important instruments that touch on civil aviation. Now, the drafting and everything else is still under consideration, including some of the substance. Unfortunately, we have not finished because of the amount of time, within the required time. If we do not extend the time, and Honorable Oundo is not even listening, if we do not extend the time...
And you are not addressing Oundo, you are addressing the chair and the House.
That's what I'm addressing the chair, that Honorable Oundo needs to pay attention so that he does not ask you again. If we do not extend the time, these regulations will come into force by effluxion of time without due consideration by the committee. So we do ask that this House gives the committee that it mandated enough time to deliberate on this, and that these regulations do come into force only when the House says so.
Thank you, Sunguli. Actually, the matter is not contested, and Oundo was just being mischievous, as usual. I'll now put the question. Members on their feet, take your seats. Members on their feet, take your seats. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 10, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Section 15(3) of the Statutory Instruments Act, Cap 2A, this House resolves to A, extend the period for consideration of the following 21 statutory instruments by a period of 21 days with effect from 25th June 2026. All the 21 are listed in the order paper. And B, extend the period for consideration of the following 8 statutory instruments by a period of 21 days with effect from 2nd July 2026. All the 8 are listed on the order paper. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 11, the Supplementary Appropriation number 2 Bill, National Assembly Bill number 38 of 2026, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to authorize the issue of certain sums of money out of the consolidated fund and their application towards the service of the year ending 30th June 2026, and to appropriate those sums for certain public services and purposes. Order number 12, the Architects Bill, National Assembly Bill number 3 of 2026, first reading. A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the training, registration, and licensing of architects, to provide for the regulation and development of the architectural practice, and for connected purposes. Order number 13, the Kenya Revenue Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2026, second reading, resumption of debate.
Had Osoro finished moving? Or seconding?
The Honorable Kimani Kuria was to second, and he's asked me to do that on his behalf. He's held up in a meeting.
Proceed.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to second this Kenya Revenue Authority Amendment Bill, which, Honorable Speaker, is a very small bill, only 4 clauses. And basically, it is realigning the Kenya Revenue Authority Act with other statutes that have since been repealed. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, if you look at the proposals in the bill, clause 2 and 3 are just proposing to delete the term ex officio from Section 7 and 8 of the Act. And this deletion is necessary because the term ex officio is no longer fits the current composition and structure of the KRA board. To Honorable Speaker, Section 6 of the KRA Act has established a very crisp board, which includes the chairperson, the Commissioner General, PS Finance, the Attorney General, and 6 independent members. Clause 4 again updates the first schedule, replacing outdated standards levy order of 1990 with the current order of 2025. And again, the bill also seeks to delete references to the old repealed Sugar Act of 2001, substituting with the Sugar Act of 2024, sorry. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, the further amendment, Honorable Speaker, inserts the Retirement Benefits Authority Act into the list of written laws relating to revenue. This amendment formally incorporates the Retirement Benefits Act, Cap 197, to properly position KRA as the official collector of the retirement benefits levy. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, these are very short bill, only 4 clauses, just realigning terms that have been referenced to in the KRA Act, but those references have since been repealed to new acts of parliament, and therefore we're just realigning to make sure that the KRA Act refers to the current laws. And also that realignment to ensure that the retirement benefits levy is collected by KRA, again, by inserting the amendments touching on the Retirement Benefits Authority Act. Honorable Speaker, there is nothing much to say about this bill. It's a rather straightforward bill. I know following public participation and submissions by stakeholders, including the Commissioner General and commissioners of KRA, they also brought in issues touching on the frequency of meetings of the board, because by law, the board, I think, was required to sit every month, and it may not be necessary always for a board. It looks like the board is micromanaging the management of the commissioners. When they sit every other month, they sort of become part and parcel of the day-to-day running of the authority. And we want KRA to be run professionally by the professionals who are there, while as the board performs the function of oversight, overall oversight and policy direction of the organization, not day-to-day management. And even becomes cumbersome every now and then to convene board meetings, and costly also to the authority. Honorable Speaker, you remember we just appropriated an additional 1.8 billion shillings to KRA to ensure that all this money is going towards efforts that are geared towards revenue mobilization and not being spent in repetitive board meetings, Honorable Speaker. And again, the board also has subcommittees of the board that sit on a regular basis, and therefore it becomes too burdensome to ask board members to sit compulsory by law almost every month. With that, Honorable Speaker, I beg to second and urge members to support this bill. It's a very straightforward bill. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Members on their feet, take your seats. Chepkonga, take your seat. Honorable members, I'll propose the question at order number 13, which is that the Kenya Revenue Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2026, be now read a second time. I put the question. Honorable members, I now put the question at order number 13, as is the mood of the House, which is that the Kenya Revenue Authority Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 28 of 2026, be now read a second time. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Kenya Revenue Authority Act and for connected purposes.
Next.
Order number 14, motion. Consideration of the supplementary estimates 2 for financial year 2025-2026, general debate.
Chairman, Budget and Appropriations Committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I would like to move that this House adopts the report of the budget and Appropriations Committee on its consideration of the second supplementary estimates for the financial year 2025-2026, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 17th June 2026, and section 39 of the PFM Act, CAF 412A, and Standing Order 243, one approves an increase of the current expenditure for the financial year 2025-2026 by Kenya shillings 7,619 million. In respect of the votes contained in first schedule, number 2 approves an increase of the capital expenditure for the financial year 2025-2026 by Kenya shillings 10,618 million 23,911 in respect to the votes contained in first schedule, and 3 approves an overall increase in the total budget for the financial year 2025-2026 by Kenya shillings 18 billion 39 million 23,911 in respect to the
Sorry,
votes.
Honorable Atandi, just go back kidogo so that the record is clear. After 2026, can you amend and read and pursuant to section? The word pursuant to is missing. And pursuant to section 39.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let me take it again.
Yeah, you can start.
That the House, I would like to move that this House adopt the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on its consideration of the second supplementary estimates for the financial year 2025-2026, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 17th June 2026, and pursuant to Section 39 of the PFM Act, Cap 412A, and Standard Order 243-1, approves an increase of the current expenditure for the financial year 2025-2026 by Kenya shillings 7,619 million. In respect of the votes contained in first schedule, 2 approves an increase of the capital expenditure for the financial year 2025-2026 by Kenya shillings 10,618 million 23,911 in respect of the votes concerned in the first schedule. And number 3 approves an overall increase in the total budget for the financial year 2025-2026 by Kenya shillings 18,237 million 23,911 in respect to the votes contained in the first schedule. And 4 makes the financial recommendations as contained in the first schedule. Honorable Speaker, I would like to say that the supplementary estimates were submitted just 2 weeks before the close of this financial year, and the committee had very limited time to go through the estimates, and therefore we did not have an opportunity to invite committee chairmen to appear before us. Honorable Speaker, the estimate seeks funding shortfalls in operations and maintenance, and also to strengthen support for critical security interventions during the financial year, and also to provide for programs that should be financed through development partner support. Honorable Speaker, it's important for the House to note that these supplementary estimates, the National Treasury has not issued or disbursed any funding under Article 223. Honorable Speaker, this is a very good disciplinary measure that the National Treasury has adopted, given that over the years this House has complained that National Treasury has been spending money which has not been approved by this House. Honorable Speaker, I just want to give highlights of some of the key votes that have been affected by the supplementary estimates too. And the first one, Honorable Speaker, is that there's 3.85 billion which will be spent by the State Department for micro, small, and medium enterprises, and 1.9 billion which will go to the State Department for Youth Affairs, Creative Economy, and an additional support that will go to National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement. That is called NYOTA program. Now, Honorable Speaker, this program seeks to expand the economic opportunities and improve livelihoods for our young people across the country. Honorable Speaker, the second allocation is 2.3 billion for the State Department of Water and Sanitation. This money is meant to support the implementation of Mwache Dam project. Honorable Speaker, this is a very big water project in the coastal region, specifically in the Kwale area. And this project is funded by development partners. So this allocation actually is from development partners. Honorable Speaker, the third allocation is 3.5 billion which is going to support our security operations and other security-related operations. Honorable Speaker, there is another 1.5 billion shillings, which is going to the State Department of Education to cater for the arrears for the administration of national examinations and assessments. Honorable Speaker, when we passed the main estimates, there was uproar that we had not factored in the funds that were meant to pay for those who helped us in the invigilation of the previous exams. Honorable Speaker, I want to report to the House that this money has now been factored in this supplementary budget, which you are going to pass now. Honorable Speaker, we have another 150 million shillings, which is meant for the acquisition of broadcasting rights for the 2026 FIFA World Cup through the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Honorable Speaker, we have the other allocation, which is about 4.1 billion, Honorable Speaker. This money is going to Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund for the completion of AFCON training grounds. Honorable Speaker, we have many AFCON training grounds that are on construction, but we did not have sufficient budget to be able to complete them in readiness for the World Cup, in readiness for the African Cup of Nations. Honorable Speaker, we now have 4.1 billion, which we are going to use to ensure that they are completed. Honorable Speaker, of course, the National Treasury has done some reallocations. There are some resources which they had budgeted for personnel emoluments, and they have since realized that those funds will not be spent. That is about 700 million, which we are going to cut from their estimates. And then lastly, Honorable Speaker, we have other reallocations within National Treasury of about 1.8 billion. These funds are going to help us also in cutting the budget of National Treasury. Honorable Speaker, since this is a very, very small bill and the amendments to the bill, to the estimates are very few, I don't want to spend more time explaining the same. And therefore, I would like to ask my able Vice Chairman to be able to second. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I move to second the consideration of the supplementary estimate 2 for the financial year 2025-2026. Honorable Speaker, as my chair has put it, this is a very small supplementary that is affecting few departments, but offering areas where we were not able to factor in during the main budget. And these are areas where we're talking about areas in security. We are talking about areas where you find that there was initial disbursement for the Nyota program to our youths, and therefore they're expecting to get the second disbursement. And therefore this has been factored in, and we are hoping that when the youths get this money, they are able to engage in business. Honorable Speaker, we are also asking the ministry concerned to do monitoring and evaluation to make sure that the money is used to achieve the intended purposes, because some of the youths have not used the money for the purposes for which they were given to start small businesses. Honorable Speaker, also you find that there is 2.3 billion, which is to Mwachet Dam in Kwale, and this is a very important dam, Honorable Speaker, for the coastal region, especially for the people of Kwale, in terms of doing irrigation and also provision of water for their home consumption. Honorable Speaker, in this you find that they've also factored in the money for the invigilators. Every year you find that we have our teachers going to do marking of examinations. And initially, this House, when we were debating the budget, they expressed that the invigilators had not been paid. The marking of the examinations as we come into the next batch of exams, then this has been not properly taken care of. And therefore, in this budget, we want to assure our teachers that their money which they have for the marking of the exams, which they are already expecting, is going to be taken in. And we are hoping that before the close of the financial year, before the end of this month, they'll be able to receive that money. So with those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I stand to second.
The Speaker did not fall. Let me now propose the question, honorable members. And I propose the question. This House adopts the report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on its consideration of the second supplementary estimates for the financial year 2025-2026, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 17th June 2026, and pursuant to Section 39 of the Public Finance Management Act, Cap 412A, and Standing Order 243, 1, approves an increase of the current expenditure for the financial year 2025-2026 by Kenya shillings 7,619 million in respect of votes contained in the first schedule. 2, approves an increase of the capital expenditure for the financial year 2025-2026 by Kenya shillings 10,618 million 23,911 in respect of the votes contained in the first schedule. Number 3, approves an overall increase in the total budget for the financial year 2025-2026 by Kenya shillings 18 billion 237 million 23,911 in respect of the votes contained in the first schedule. And 4, makes financial recommendations as contained in the third schedule. Yes, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to support this motion for adoption of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the supplementary estimates of the financial year 2025-2026. Honorable Speaker, as the Chair and the Vice Chair have articulated, this is a very last supplementary budget and is more or less a very short bill also, because the approvals being done, as I indicated, are not approvals that people are likely to get any additional exchequer. And therefore, it has actually no additional exchequer other than realigning, reallocations, because as we come close to the end of the financial year, there are realizations in certain departments that they may not be able, within the time left, be able to absorb some of the monies that they have been given, and therefore they seek to reallocate to other deserving areas where they will be able to absorb that money. Honorable Speaker, the only other reason why we usually do this very last supplementary is to include, or to rather to recognize, any additional A&As or appropriations in aid that may not have been factored in the supplementary one budget, and therefore where organizations that have capacity to generate A&A again have raised A&A beyond what they projected, and leveraging on technology, a number of our state agencies, and also following our enactment of the Government-Owned Enterprises Act. Many of the government-owned enterprises are now able to generate their own revenues, and the A&A that they projected at the beginning of the year surpassed some of their projections, and therefore we need to realign again our budgets to make sure that they're able to absorb any additional A&A within this financial year, so that we do not cross over into the year with misaligned budget lines where you have pending bills in some state departments within the same ministry and surpluses within other state departments within the same ministry. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, this being a very short bill, there's nothing much to say, just to support and urge the House to support it, Honorable Speaker. And there's really nothing much to add. I support.
The Honorable Minority Leader takes precedence.
Mr. Speaker, I stand to support the report of the Budget and Appropriation Committee on the Supplementary Budget 2. Mr. Speaker, I want to commend the prudent management of finances by the Treasury.
Mr. Speaker, I used to be in this house for many years, where every financial year we used to have 3, even 4 supplementary budgets. This financial year we are having only 2. And this one is very minimal. And the majority leader will agree with me. But during last parliament and the other parliament, previous regimes, we used to have supplementary 1, 2, 3. There's even a time I think we went to 4. That tells you that the people who are running the treasury today know what they are doing. They know their work, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, this is the way to do. Even next financial year, we want to move maximum to 1 supplementary. Then after that, we just implement the estimates as it has been passed by the House. Mr. Speaker, these supplementaries bring disruptions to the implementation of the estimates. So, Mr. Speaker, I know a lot of needs crop up all the time in the middle of the year, but prudent financial management requires you minimize as much as you can the provisions for supplementary budgets. So, Mr. Speaker, with those few remarks, I wish to support. And yesterday, Mr. Speaker, I was out of town, and I had some personal issues. I'm told my deputy sitting here was masquerading as a minority leader, Mr. Speaker. And I was really shocked when I saw in the evening in the news, somebody, I'm just holding him, because, there are no numbers here. As you are aware, ODM has gone out of Azimio. I'm trying to protect him, Mr. Speaker, and preserve him, but he is now an Amea Pembe. Now he's saying that he can be minority leader. Mr. Speaker, we cannot be led by a party with 20 members of parliament. That's very small. They cannot even be minority. They can be minority of the minorities. That is the place they can take. So next time, let us not have that kind of confusion in the House, Mr. Speaker. I am the minority leader, as you know, constitutionally, under Article 108. So, Mr. Speaker, and I'm happy the House has passed the finance bill because there was nothing in it. It was just making and simplifying tax processes in the country, Mr. Speaker. This is, if, you are still living in the days of the finance bill of 2024, then you will be stuck there forever. The country has moved on. We are now, and now you can see the war in the Middle East is ending. Iran and America are making peace. Now the prices of petroleum products will come down. Life will be fine and inflation will come down. I don't know what people are going to say next, Mr. Speaker. So with those few remarks, I just wanted to reprimand my deputy that let him not attempt to do that kind of coup next time. Otherwise, there will be consequences.
I hope the answer will be checked. And if there is any such representation on change on leadership of the minority side, it be expunged straight away because the House is clear under the Constitution on who the minority leader is. Yes. Honorable Irene Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I just want to also contribute and support the supplementary budget because, Honorable Speaker, among the proposed reallocations and additional allocations of funds are three very important aspects that I want to highlight. One of them, very important, Honorable Speaker, there have been many cries from Kenyans that people in this country have not been able to watch the ongoing World Cup because our Kenya Broadcasting Corporation did not have the rights. So what Budget Committee and the State Department have done is very, very important because now Kenyans across the whole country will actually be able to watch and follow all the World Cup games because, Honorable Speaker, you know how important soccer is to us. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, is the additional expenditure towards preparations for our sports, especially for the upcoming AFCON, Honorable Speaker, because as we have seen the example of what has been done by the United States, Canada, and Mexico, as East Africa as well, we want to do a fantastic tournament when the AFCON comes. So allocation of this fund is very important for them to be able to prepare the stadiums and ensure that we are ready for the AFCON next year. And finally, Honorable Speaker, the other one that I really want to applaud is the additional allocation for the Nyota. Because, Honorable Speaker, we saw when the President was going around and issuing funds through the Nyota program, how helpful and beneficial this was to our young people. So an additional money towards that is very important, because for the young people who got the initial allocation and were advised that once their projects become viable, then they will get more money to also to actually increase what they're doing, then this goes very well into encouraging and ensuring that this is actually implemented. So, Honorable Speaker, I just want to applaud the Chair of Budget and the team and to support these additional allocations and reallocations of funds. I thank you.
The Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe is recognized to contribute.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, allow me to, on the onset, to appreciate the Committee on Budget and thank the Honorable Atandi for the good work he has done towards the supplementary estimates too. Honorable Speaker, I want to speak particularly on two issues. The issue of payment of teachers, especially, and facilitators of the examination. Honorable Speaker, having brought in this House the Kenya National Examination Council Amendment Act of 2015, the Honorable Speaker empowered Kenyan children not to pay examination fees towards NEC. It calls on the facilitators, Honorable Speaker, to make sure that the examinations are administered on time and examinations are not leaked. And Honorable Speaker, for you to do that, you should entice them by paying them on time. I want to make a request, Honorable Speaker, that whereas we applaud the government for putting into the supplementary too, it is my request that next time, Honorable Speaker, we consider this payment in supplementary 1, because they will undertake the examinations on time, but we will not be able to know maybe at what cost in totality the entire cost of the facilitation, Honorable Speaker. Therefore, I want to thank the government, but also ask that we consider next time in supplementary 1. Honorable Speaker, what also calls for me to appreciate the estimates too is the issue of Nyota. The country, Honorable Speaker, is outright with the youth. We have to call a spade a spade. The youth population, Honorable Speaker, must be considered. We must look at the youth with a very open eye, support their interests, and also make sure whatever we budget considers the youth, Honorable Speaker. And factoring the Nyota program, the remaining portion of the Nyota program, is a good thing. And we encourage the government to continue with that spirit, Honorable Speaker, such that we continue supporting the youth program through Nyota. Honorable Speaker, the final thing I've seen that is positive in this program is the facilitation of water program. What they've just put in, Honorable Speaker, 2.3 billion for the dam in Kwale is a good thing. Let us call a spade, Honorable Speaker. Many people say Kwale is near the ocean, so it has water from the ocean. That is not true. They deserve this dam, Honorable Speaker. As Kenyans, let them have this dam. And also, Honorable Speaker, now towards the main budget, let us also have the Kakamega Bungoma Bulk Water Program implemented into the main program, so that even us as Kenyans can access water, and not just water, but clean water. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to support.
The Honorable Dr. James Nyikal is recognized to contribute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. I rise to support the second supplementary budget estimate. And Mr. Speaker, as was noted, the time was short. However, at our committee, we looked through and agree that the sector was not affected in any way. However, we noted with the concern that there may have been need to factor in Ebola preparedness funding. Even the ministry had noted that and written, but we had raised this with we have raised this with the chair of the Budget and Appropriation Committee. They said that can be taken care of in contingencies, emergencies, and even 223 provisions. So we are satisfied with support, and we hope that that issue remains active, because it's something that the preparations need to be in time and done properly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Dr. Wilberforce Oundo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me also stand here to give a word on this supplementary budget too. Ironically, Honorable Speaker, as much as we want to be very shortfall or failure to plan properly in terms of what's supposed to happen, but nevertheless, our standing order allows it, our laws allows it, and we let the executive probably abuse that privilege, and we continue. However, Honorable Speaker, let me also mention a few issues. The issue of Nyota, I sit in the Committee of Trade, Industry and Cooperative, where the State Department is domiciled for oversight, and indeed we raised with them that once after the first disbursement, the second disbursement was taking too long, and the youths being the kind they are, they were becoming receptive, and it was going to become a political hot nightmare for everybody. And that must be very clear. We appreciate that particular support. However, Honorable Speaker, there are two curious increases that probably the chair of the Budget Committee, Budget and Appropriation Committee, will be kind enough to probably explain to the members and to the country as a whole, because, Honorable Speaker, there is vote 1017. That's the State House. The figure has increased by 1 billion. So at the end of this financial year, State House alone would have gobbled 18 billion. Probably with the fullness of time when he's replying, you need to explain what has necessitated such a huge consumption by the State House to get to that particular level. It is unprecedented in the history of this country, and it will be in the best interest of the country for them to explain exactly why that kind of expenditure has become necessary, because we have not seen any serious development, and I'm sure the Mabatis that have been changed in State House cannot surely take up a whole 18 billion unless those long and endless,
Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe is on a point of order. Honorable Undo, you take your seat.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. With all due respect to our Professor of Economics, the great member for Funyula, it is not in order for him to say, is he not, Honorable Speaker, to say a parapet wall is equal to Mabatis? Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Undo.
I really don't know what's out of order, because it's my contribution, it's my debate, so I don't know really what's out of order. Honorable Speaker, secondly, yes, the country is going to host AFCON, and we must move with speed to make sure everything is in order. But, Honorable Speaker, the word outside there, and many of us are grappling to understand what is exactly happening. Is the sports fund becoming another cash cow, so that at any given time, we're doing things that are not necessary? Honorable Speaker, look at the calculations. I think they're getting close to 4 billion additional funds. Of course, the question arises, between now and the end of this financial year, do we really have the capacity to absorb 4 billion? Between today and 30th June, do we really have the capacity to absorb 4 billion in various actual development activities? This is not recurrent. And probably also I would request the chair of Budget Appropriation Committee just inform the people. You see, now we are living in a transparent and accountable society. We need answers. We don't want to be seen that Parliament becomes a mere rubber stamp to release funds that cannot be absorbed and which cannot be accounted for properly. There are already integrity issues concerning the real cost of Talanta Stadium. Those are issues that remain unresolved. As a country or as a National Assembly, that's mandated under the Constitution to pass budgets after scrutinizing the same, to ensure there is value for money, for whatever is spent. It pains many of us to see this kind of likely waste that's going to accrue. But nevertheless, Honorable Speaker, an increase of a whole 18 billion on this supplementary budget alone sends shockwaves given the short period of time left. Honorable Speaker, I would have actually expected much more, probably more priority areas.
But nevertheless, as it is, let me conclude by to quote the Swahili saying, wengi wape, wachache wasikize. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Honorable Mutuse.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to briefly support the report of the Budget and Appropriation Committee that I am a member of for the second supplementary. Mr. Speaker, as has been explained by the chair and the leader of the majority party, the main purpose of supplementary 2 is to align, number 1, the expenditures with actual revenue collections, so that as we cross the year, our books are balanced. Number 2, we are also providing funds, especially where we have development partner funded projects, and the government has its own matching fund obligation, so that the matching fund obligations are also provided for, and that we have ensured is done. In terms of the monies that are being appropriated to the Sports, Arts and Social Development Fund, and which the Honorable Dr. Aundo spoke about 4 billion shillings. I think Kenyans, because it is an era of transparency, like he has said, these are monies that have been raised from appropriations in aid in terms of the monies and fees charged through betting. And these monies are being appropriated under the Sports, Arts and Development Fund to pay already certificates that are due for some of our stadiums.
The Honorable Undo. You know, you raised some fundamental issues around sports which are being responded to.
Mr. Speaker, if I may repeat, the 4 billion or so that has been appropriated under Supplementary 2 to the Sports, Arts and Development Fund under the explanatory notes, and I know that Dr. Undo is capable of reading and understanding, are monies that have been collected between the period of the passage of the first supplementary and now from betting, and therefore appropriations in aid. And the monies are appropriated for purposes of paying certificates that are already due, for stadiums that are going to be used for AFCON, both for competitions and for training purposes. And the stadiums have been appended, they are part of the supplementary budget, and therefore it is wild to allege that the monies that the Sports, Arts and Development Fund is a cash cow. Mr. Speaker, I support and I urge the House, now that the mood of the House is that we are in support of the second supplementary, that, Mr. Speaker, you may find it necessary to call the mover to reply.
The Honorable Jematia.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I also rise to support this report, and I also want to declare that I'm a member of this committee, like Honorable Mutuse. Mr. Speaker, this is a report of supplementary 2 to align to the bigger budget, so that when we are appropriating, we are able to have our budget in line. Mr. Speaker, considering the situation in Kenya today, I want to speak about the Nyota programs and what the government is trying its best to support through these programs for our young people. The beauty about Nyota is that it gives you the skill as it supports you financially. Whereas we understand not everyone is going to be actively and able to benefit so much, but majority of the success stories out there is with continuous support through government, Nyota is going to give our young people a better skills and survivals as they push and try as much as possible to make ends meet. And Mr. Speaker, this budget also gives a wide equity into the country. If you look at the placement of the budget and even considering this estimate supplementary 2, we are able to bridge gaps where we were not able to give enough funding. And considering also the world support, World Bank and other organizations that is injected in this budget, I want to support, and I say this is going to be one of the most effective way to build this country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable John Gitonga.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. Honorable Speaker, as I rise to support the supplementary budget too, Honorable Speaker, it's good to say that when this House is passing budget, it is passing money that has come from work that Kenyans are doing, Honorable Speaker, loans that Kenyans are borrowing, sometimes with very painful interest rates, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I believe as we pass the supplementary budget too, Honorable Speaker, we need to look at places where there is over-budgeting, Honorable Speaker. There are places where, Honorable Speaker, people and ministries and parastatals are getting more resources than they need. And, Honorable Speaker, for the last few weeks, if you have happened to go to hotels in Coast, they were full to the brim, Honorable Speaker, while our MDAs are trying to utilize monies that have been allocated to them to meet the deadline of the June deadline, Honorable Speaker, for the financial year. And, Honorable Speaker, it has been a tough time for Kenya. It has been a tough time for Kenyans, for businesses, for mamambogas, and it is not the time, Honorable Speaker, for resources that come from taxes to be misused and mishandled, Honorable Speaker, especially opulently or extravagantly by the people that are using these resources. And it saddens me, Honorable Speaker, when we see places where Kenyans are getting low value for money, getting even additional resources, Honorable Speaker, in budget. And I know I am speaking on behalf of very many Kenyans. When we see increment in budgets for choppers, for State House, for office of the Deputy President, Honorable Speaker, when, Honorable Speaker, many Kenyans cannot even get good health care, and they don't have, Honorable Speaker, resources to have even food on their table. And today, Honorable Speaker, because we have passed a finance bill, I expected this House to take a reflection journey of the changes that we have made in the financial systems that have pressed Kenyans in a very tough way. Honorable Speaker, when we came in, when this House got into power in 2022, we first increased and put housing levy. Honorable Speaker, on top of that, we added and increased the banding for payee, whereby people were doing 30%. If you earn around 500,000, now it's 35%. Honorable Speaker, we have also increased the NHIF, Honorable Speaker. I mean, the NSSF. People used to do 1,000, now it's 6,000, Honorable Speaker, for somebody earning 100,000. This tells you, Honorable Speaker, that we cannot sit here as a House and not discuss how these resources that we are now passing through the supplementary budget too are being used, Honorable Speaker. And you have read and seen, Honorable Speaker, As early as yesterday, we got the news that World Bank has denied the emergency fund for our country to caution our economy. It tells you, Honourable Speaker, that at some point we have to live within our means. We have to use what we are collecting. And Honourable Speaker, I don't think, Honourable Speaker, that even when we are considering passing the status quo, we should have considered to have the finance bill of this year, making sure that Kenyans have some more monies in their pocket. Honourable Speaker, if you look at our collection in terms of revenue, you'll find that while the normal Kenyan has had it rough with having no resources and money, extra monies to use, it is only a margin of only 500 billion in collection between 2021 to the current financial year, Honourable Speaker. It tells you, while you are increasing taxes, what Kenyans do, they readjust and deny you even more taxes. So we need to reduce and put down the government recurrent usage, and also be prudent on our resources. We need to live within our means. We need to use, Honourable Speaker, what we have. But Honourable Speaker, we know that the House as it is today, and we have seen it in the morning, Honourable Speaker, and I wish Minority Leader was here. It is not that there is a problem with the people who are against passing of the finance bill. It is only that this House, as it is constituted today, the minority and the majority side are speaking the same language. When the majority says something, minority supports. Honourable Speaker, that is not how this House was constituted to work. It was
Honourable Mukunji. Order, Honourable Mukunji. Honourable Mukunji, we are debating the matter under order number 14. It's a motion for consideration of the supplementary estimates 2 for the financial year 2025-2026. Could we just go back there?
Honourable Speaker, I have not left
Majority
my
Leader,
trail of contribution.
Yeah, Honourable
Speaker.
Honourable Mukunji, the majority leader is on a point of order.
Honourable Speaker.
Just take your seat, Honourable Mukunji.
Honourable Speaker, first let me thank you for guiding the member for Manyata, Honourable Mukunji. But now that he mentioned me and the minority leader, that if he says something, I must support, or if I say something, he must support. Just to inform the member that this is a house of debate. And you debate based on your understanding of issues. And therefore, if I understand there is something good in a bill to support, and my colleague, let me not even mention my colleague, the minority leader, Honourable Mukunji himself, sees there is something good to support, or he says something good that I feel is good to support, I will support. But you see, Honourable Speaker, the problem is that some of us have taken this chamber as an avenue for propagating rumors they collect out there. And I said here yesterday, Honourable Speaker, you had somebody say that the Finance Bill 2024 had provisions touching on land. Another one said they had provisions touching on Mitumba. And you could hear a select number of these members who congregated somewhere there raise the same issues, Honourable Speaker, to speak to the gallery, to speak to the people out there. This morning, Honourable Speaker, it took the person who was at the chair to correct the member for Chwele, he's called Honourable Kalasinga, who purported the finance bill had a clause 169. Shame. A bill that had only 56, 57 clauses. Honourable Speaker, I had another one here yesterday telling us Don't tell us to point to a clause. We know we are not fools. But I ask myself, if you are not a fool, then you should be able to read a bill and tell us this particular provision is contained in clause number 1, clause number 2, clause number 3. And therefore, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for guiding the member for Manyata to restrict himself to the supplementary estimates 2 of 2025-2026. Not to take us to that circus of just wanting to point fingers. I know some of you, like him and the member for Kajiado Northern Bongokoyo, if they don't mention the lead of majority or lead of minority, their leaders out there will whip them. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Mukuji, you can be sure you are protected from any whipping outside there.
Honorable Speaker, I will just not respond to the majority leader, simply because there was no point of order, and he is just lucky that he got your eye and got a chance to contribute. But Honorable Speaker, my contribution was rightly put, that as we pass this supplementary budget, the finance bill is where these resources come from. And I was guiding this House simply and clearly that while we are passing these taxes, and while this House, the minority and the majority side, have combined efforts to ensure the executive have their way, they must not forget that they represent the people of Kenya. We are the only representative that have been given mandate to speak on the behalf of people of Kenya. So, Honorable Speaker, I was saying, and I will repeat, that this House has a responsibility, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Jared Okello is on a point of order.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity, and I would want to correct this notion that only those who oppose the government speak for the people. Honorable Speaker, when a government is formed, be it those who voted for that government or those who opposed that government at the ballot, it then becomes one universal government for the day, Honorable Speaker. And to delude people into believing that there is a section that can only represent the wishes of the people to the detriment of those who are also in this House but are supporting the cause of government is misplaced, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, we have constantly, right from the onset, seen a kind of desperation here, where there are people trying to whip up emotions of the Kenyan citizenry, so that whatever they have planned, be it on the 25th, 26th, I don't know when, that it must have to be achieved by giving the wrong information to the populace out there, Honorable Speaker. We have a document that all of us have read. We do know that the government must also run its programs, Honorable Speaker, and it is not only restricted to the Republic of Kenya. Every government must mop up funds to run programs, be it recurrent expenditure and development, Honorable Speaker. And when we have a document such as this that is before us, it has to be read with a tooth comb and critique where necessary, but only basing on facts and not conjecture, Honorable Speaker. And therefore, it behoves all of us in this House who represent the wishes and the plight of the people out there to be factual. And that also helps our people make a deliberate decision, be it those who are in this House and those who are outside this House, Honorable Speaker. So I implore upon each and every individual here to restrict themselves to the confines of this document without necessarily being extra. I hope you will have your time, honorable members, that we do not have to be extra, without necessarily understanding the depth and the width of the document that is before us, Honorable Speaker. And I thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, Honorable Mukunji, you have 1 minute to wind up.
Honorable Speaker, all these interruptions, you can see clearly, they are meant to just dissuade the alternative voice in this House. But Honorable Speaker, I'll still insist, and I've said we are not only the representative of the, but sometimes, Honorable Speaker, you have to remind this House. Honorable Speaker, in 2024, this House passed the finance bill. And everybody is aware that the population, almost 90% of this nation, was against that finance bill. It is the president actually that said he's not going to sign. And this House has passed it. And Mr. Speaker, we cannot ignore this fact that at some point you have to remind the people that they are representative of the people out there. But Mr. Speaker, because I'm concluding, as we pass, we need to see and ensure that we don't over budget for some offices so that we ensure Kenyans get value for money and we put our monies where our mouths are as Kenyans. We don't need to have an increment in budget in places where actually almost sevenfold when you consider from 2021 to almost 2026.
Yeah, the Honorable Wandeto, the MP for Tetu, Honorable Geoffrey Wandeto.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would also like to contribute to these supplementary estimates, which seeks to increase the overall budget from 2.913 trillion to about 2.931 trillion, an increase of 18 billion shillings. And Mr. Speaker, the concern of every Kenyan is that out there, people are struggling to put food at the table. People are struggling to fuel their vehicles with the current increases in fuel and in the attendant cost of living. And Kenyans have generally been crying that they wish to see a government that is more responsible when it comes to expenditure, a country that lives within its means. Mr. Speaker, we have continuously seen what I would call an expansionist budget over the last few years, moving, I think, from a low of 1.8 trillion, I think that's where Kibaki left us, now to 4.8 trillion. And Mr. Speaker, a lot of this is coming with two costs. One, the widening budget deficit, which this year, and I know we are not speaking about this year's budget, is estimated to move to about 1.2 trillion shillings. And also the increased debt burden to the country. And I feel, Mr. Speaker, we could be doing a lot of things at the expense of the future generations of this country. And so as responsible leaders, Mr. Speaker, it is important that even as we think through the budget estimates, even as we think through the expenditure for this country, that we spare a thought for the ordinary Kenyan, and that we also apply our money to the areas that directly benefit our people. Looking at where the 18 billion is going, it's difficult, Mr. Speaker, to really speak to some measurable, direct benefits to the common mwananchi. We could make the president more comfortable at a better state house. We could build bigger stadiums, which are coming at a very huge cost to this country. But to what extent is that really benefiting Wanjiko, as we always talk about, the common mwananchi? Mr. Speaker, the other issue is our absorption capacity. Again, you find at the end of every financial year, you have money that was appropriated, but that has not been spent. So we also long for the day the chairman of the budget committee will come with a supplementary budget that is reducing. Because every time we see is an increase from the last estimate. When will we come and tell Kenyans that now we are ready to cut our cloth, according to our size? We are ready to live within our means, and that we are ready to start making sacrifices on some of these non-essential items. I've seen the office of the deputy president has been added 100 million shillings. This is the same office that was that we were told, has overshot its transport budget because of the number of choppers that it has to hire or the frequency of those choppers. Mr. Speaker, you've also been told by the Anti-Corruption Commission that approximately 2 billion shillings, 2 to 3 billion shillings is stolen every day. So again, when I look at the 18 billion, is this theft for 1 week? Because if we are going to pass money, then it is stolen in a week's time. Because if 3 billion is stolen every day, the 21 billion will be stolen in exactly 1 week. So, Mr. Speaker, we need to think about some of these things. I brought to this House, Mr. Speaker, last week, and Mr. Speaker, I brought to this House. You can protect me from...
Emmanuel Wangwe is on a point of order.
Okay.
Just take your seat briefly on the board.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, will I be in order to ask my very good colleague, the CPA, Wandeto, to also mention that statistic is statistics as per the former president, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I can answer my chairman. The latest ESC statistics shows that the country is losing 783 billion to corruption. So you can divide that by 365, and my chairman, I know his phone has a calculator, it will come to roughly about 2 to 3 billion.
Honorable John Wandeto, just take your seat. The chair of the Departmental Committee on Justice and Legal Affairs is on a point of order.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm studying Order 83. Honorable Wandeto is required to substantiate what he is stating as a matter of fact when he knows that he doesn't have the facts. Any allusion to 2 billion shillings being lost in a day was actually made by the former president, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta. We have not had any other report whatsoever from anywhere howsoever that we are losing money on a daily basis and at what rate. So if he's drawing an analogy with that statement, he has to say so. If he states it as a matter of fact, we require substantiation because we do not have any facts of any allegation that we are losing 2 billion shillings, less or more per day, as he alleges.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to move on. And,
Honorable Wandeto, let me read for you the provisions of Standing Order number 91. At Suborder 1, it says, a member shall be responsible for the accuracy of any facts which the member alleges to be true and may be required to substantiate any such facts instantly. You've just mentioned that the country is losing 2 to 3 billion. Would you substantiate so that we go over the matter?
Yes, I would invite Honorable Murugara after this. He can come and I can show him the latest ESCC report. The latest ESCC report is also online.
Honorable Wandeto.
It is also online.
Honorable Wandeto, whatever you say before the floor is not for...
So, Mr. Speaker, can I offer to bring the data?
Don't interrupt the speaker. Did you hear the word instantly? And that is what you are being required to do. If you cannot substantiate instantly, you withdraw that statement and you make it when you have the substantiation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, like I promised, I'll bring the data. So for now, let me withdraw the allegation, but I will come back to this House to bring the report because I know...
No, that is very much in order.
This is a setup. But Mr. Speaker, more importantly,
members, that is
2
very
weeks ago,
much in order.
last week.
No, just a minute. That statement is withdrawn and let it be expunged from the record. Honorable Wandeto retains his right as a member to make that claim as and when in the future he will be able to substantiate.
We will be able to substantiate, Mr. Speaker, but it would also not be honest for this House to say there is no corruption, wastage of public resources in this country. But we will deal with that data. But, Mr. Speaker, more importantly, last week when we were debating the estimates for the 2026-2027 financial year, I brought to this House proposals, or I had proposed reduction of the budget by 91 billion. Those proposals, Mr. Speaker, seems to have been lost somewhere. The Honorable Atandi now are still looking for them, and maybe at the right time we'll be able to spend them. But, Mr. Speaker, generally what I'm saying is that as a country, this is the time to start thinking about the future generation, about reducing our expenditure, about cutting waste and unnecessary fat, because as a country we cannot grow, especially if we continue this expansionist with recurrent budget, even at the expense of a development budget. The other thing is that we are hardly meeting our revenue estimates. I heard the Honorable Mutunga saying we are adjusting this because we have realized we are going to meet the revenue. The year is still having 2 weeks pending. How did he know that we are going to meet the revenue? So, Mr. Speaker, I think we need to do a better job with these supplementary estimates. Thank you.
The Honorable Makali Mulu, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I will be very brief. Being a member of the Budget Committee, I join my colleagues in supporting the supplementary budget, but I have to make the following observations. The originators of supplementary budget is Treasury, National Treasury. And with all due respect to this House, Honorable Speaker, 2 weeks to an end of our financial year sends the wrong signals in terms of planning and budgeting. I think into the future, Honorable Speaker, we should be firm as a House that the last supplementary budget to this House should be coming at least a month or two to the end of the financial year. We cannot stop it because it's a constitutional provision under 223, but I think 2 weeks to the end of our financial year, that is really not good for the House. The second item, Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, and I think is this important, Honorable Speaker, I think members seem to have forgotten that the budget we are discussing, which is this year's financial budget, Honorable Speaker, had a huge budget deficit. And what has happened even over time, Honorable Speaker, many times I've talked about a moving deficit target. How I wish that some of these savings we are talking about through A&A and other amounts not being utilized would have been pushed to reduce the budget deficit so that we reduce our public debt, Honorable Speaker. Public debt is a huge, huge problem in this country now where we are. We always keep on talking about it being sustainable, but I think we need to make a very deliberate move, Honorable Speaker, that we start reducing it. So with those remarks, Honorable Speaker, I want to support it. But Honorable Speaker, also another statement of fact, Honorable Speaker. I think members have said here that I think by design, the architecture of this House is that you have a majority side and you have a minority side, Honorable Speaker. The expectation is always that the majority side might be carrying the voice of the executive. The minority side is expected to provide alternative voice to that voice of the executive. And in a situation where you find that in many cases, and Honorable Speaker, I want to challenge anybody in this House to tell me when is the last time we had the minority leader of this House giving different opinion from the majority leader, so that he can come and try to harass his deputy by saying that he is taking over his position. It is not taking over his position. It is stating things as they are, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Makali, don't go back there.
No, Honorable Speaker, I think he's stating things as they are.
In fact, let me tell you.
But with those many remarks, I submit, Honorable Speaker.
Lastly, Honorable John Kagusha.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to make my contribution to this supplementary budget. And of course, I have a few observations I have made. And for that reason, I want to oppose this supplementary budget. Honorable Speaker, if you look at the additional request for supplementary number 2, table number 1, vote number 1012, Office of the Deputy President, we are increasing his allocation at this late hour with 200 million Kenya shillings. Vote number 1017, we are increasing the allocation for State House with 1 billion Kenya shillings. Vote number 1026, State Department for Internal Security and National Administration, again on recurrent, is being increased by 1.55 billion Kenya shillings. Vote number 1281 on National Intelligence Services is being increased by 3.55 billion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, the total amount of money that is being increased 2 weeks before the end of the financial year is 6.3 billion Kenya shillings, and this is recurrent expenditure for the high and mighty of this republic. Honorable Speaker, considering we have very many challenges in this country that we are facing as a people, it is unfair that this House should sit today to pass a supplementary budget that is increasing the comfort of the executive by a tune of 6.3 billion Kenya shillings. Honorable Speaker, this would be the most unfair thing that we can do in this country. Remember, we have very many people who are suffering and are not able to pay their hospital bills. We have very many people today and schools that cannot run because they have not received their capitation. Yet, we have a challenge whereby we want to pass this kind of budget that is going to be for the benefit of the executive and the president and his deputy and NIS. Honorable Speaker, I also want you to draw your attention also to the way we have revised the revenue downwards by 153 billion Kenya shillings. And as we are doing this, you are increasing the budget by a whopping 17 billion. And clearly you can see the budget that you're increasing is giving 6.3 billion Kenya shillings to the executive. Honorable Speaker, by doing this,
yes,
we are now expanding our deficit.
Order, Honorable Kikuchi, somebody is on a point of order. The Honorable Member for Migori.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
What's your point of order?
Honorable Speaker, the member has just said that the increment is for the President and his deputy. I'd like to remind him that that office does not belong to His Excellency Ruto. That office belongs to Kenyans. So it's not a personal benefit to the President and his deputy. He needs to be very clear on that. And you know, just on a light note, Honorable Speaker, I have been in opposition. Let us oppose